Hey everyone, let me know if you can hear me. It looks like I was having some issues with my connection. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat. But welcome to another very exciting Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. This is, what challenge are we on? Let me scroll down and see. We are at challenge number, what is it? Number 6 today. Challenge number 6. But yeah, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. The stream was having an issue getting started. I was getting some error messages, so just confirm that you can hear me in the chat. But I was saying, I don't know if you heard me earlier, I was saying hello to everybody who's here, including Valdir, Carol, Jade, Monica, and thank you so much for joining me. I can see Sam is saying hello loud and clear. That's great, all good, awesome. I'm so happy that everybody can hear me. I was a little worried because I was already like maybe 3 minutes into the stream and I kept getting this notification saying you're not live, you're not live. So I'm glad that you can hear me. But anyway, yeah. So challenge number 6, Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. I've been looking into Discord and you guys have been doing a lot of amazing work, including the engraving effect from yesterday. Before we get started, let me just take care of some housekeeping items. So let me switch over into my screen so that you can see what I'm looking at. And this is the page that you should be at, the Daily Creative Challenge page. Make sure that you click on that big blue button to take the challenge with me. And also make sure that you scroll down to the decorations box. This is the box that unlocked today. Every day, a new box unlocks with a file and the blue button so you can watch the replay. So if I go too fast or you miss something, you can always watch the replay. But most importantly, you can get the Get Started file. And if you've been following along, then you know that I'm using the same file for all the Daily Creative Challenges. That's sort of my little challenge for me. You don't have to do that. You can use the same file for all the challenges if you like, or you can switch it up in every other challenge. Totally up to you. And let me see if there's any questions in the comments. Everybody's saying everything sounds good. Awesome. We have Clever from San Antonio, Texas. That's right. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm currently streaming from Manchester, UK, but I'm usually in the San Francisco Bay Area. We can see a lot of familiar faces. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is show you the awesome Discord page. If you click under community chat on this behance.net/challenge/Photoshop page, that will take you into the Discord page. And from Discord, you can click on that link that's right up above my head there, the current challenge tab. And that is the place where you can submit the work that you create while working with me and the other streamers here at doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenges. And you can see day number 2 or challenge number 2, we had an animation and we had an engravement effect yesterday. A lot of good work. Thank you so much for submitting your work. If you've done some work and you haven't submitted already, then you can still do so. There's no deadline, but make sure that you submit it in there. If you have some questions, I'm there. The other Adobe mentors are there. The Adobe team is there. And of course, the rest of you are there, so we can all help each other out with any questions or comments that we may have. Also, make sure that you submit your work onto behance.net and click on create a project and submit your work. Use the hashtag PSDailyChallenge so that you can have an opportunity to be featured in the Creative Challenges curated community gallery, which is this right here. So you can see some of the work that we've chosen to be featured in this gallery. If you want to have an opportunity to be featured in the gallery, make sure you use the hashtag. The same thing goes for the XD Daily Creative Challenges and the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenges. And also, you're already on Behance, so why not follow me on Behance? I'm at behance.net/JR from PTC. If you're watching live, there should be a link somewhere around you where you can click on my Behance profile and click on that follow button. And actually, something I should have mentioned earlier, on Discord, if you're watching on a recording and you don't know how to get into Discord, that is the link right up above my head to get into Discord. And I know that I think we have the link in the chat as well, but if not, I'm sure it'll come up in there very soon. I'm sure Sam will post the link. Yep, I see the link now. Thank you, Sam. We also have Claudia from Print My Soul in the chat. Hey, Claudia, how's it going? I'm actually using her studio. So right now I'm in Claudia from Print My Soul's studio. So this is where I'm doing the stream from. So yep, super, super cool. All right, let me switch back over into my screen. And I want to mention one more time the behance.net/challenge/Photoshop page. The files that I'm working with are right here, getting started file. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure that you head over into behance.net/live so that I can read your comments, because if you're commenting on YouTube, I can't see your comments. So if you want to interact with me and the rest of I think we called what did we call ourselves yesterday in the chat? Somebody reminds me, the banana crew, or what were we calling ourselves? I used a banana on my toolbar in Photoshop, and we were saying how we were like the banana crew or team or something like that. And I think the first rule is to not talk about the banana group, but clearly I'm talking about it, so I'm breaking the first rule. Awesome. Sean is saying Claudia needs to photobomb JR. Well, I'm in her studio, but she's not here now. So she definitely could photobomb me if she wanted to, but she's not here now. Cool. So let me switch over into Photoshop and just talk about today's challenge. So this is the photo that we've been using for all the streams. Again, you don't have to use this photo. You can use any photo you want. You can switch up the photos for every different challenge if you like. If you like, totally cool, no problem. Nicole's saying, is the video on or am I just broken? The video is on. It looks like people can hear me and see me. So I don't know. I think it just might be your screen there, Nicole. I'm not sure what the issue is. We have Mark from San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. Nice to see you, Mark. Cool. Nice. So this is the image that we're gonna work with, and today I'm gonna show you guys how to work with patterns, but not in the usual way. If you don't know what a pattern is, let me show you. You can click on this icon and just go into patterns, and you can see the patterns that are available. If you've been following along with the Daily Creative Challenge, I already showed you guys how to make a pattern just a few days ago. So you should know what a pattern is. But anyway, a pattern is just an image that gets repeated over and over again. And if the image has seamless, if the image is seamless, meaning you can't see a seam, then you'll get a pattern that looks like that, where you can scroll forever and you'll never reach the end and you'll never see a seam. So that's basically what a pattern is. So today, I'm going to show you how to create a pattern so that we can apply it on a path and then create ornaments. So we're going to create a nice little ornament around his head, and we could definitely improve on this image by using a technique like that. So the first step is to simply find what type of image we're going to convert into a pattern, and I thought we would do it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into stock.adobe.com, and what you need to search for, and this doesn't have to, you don't have to use an image from Adobe Stock. I'm just using one from there because that's what I prefer. But I'm looking for leaves. I want to create this ornament around his head just using leaves. So I'm just going to type in isolated. I always use the word isolated because I already want the masking done for me. So it's going to be a leaf up against a solid background. Leaf. And I'm actually going to use the word single. So one single leaf. And if I can spell it correctly, that would be better. And I'm just going to see what I get. And I'm going to tell you which ones I think will work for what we want. So a single leaf like this one. So I'm going to right click and open it up in a new tab. And I'll select a different one like that one. And maybe this one here. And I think with 3 will be good enough. So I'll let you guys decide. Should we use this one, leaf number 1, leaf number, oh, actually this is multiple. I'll just pick one of the 4, leaf number 2, or this one, which is leaf number 3. So 1, 2, or 3. So let me know in the chat which one you guys want me to use, and I'll wait a second because I know there's a delay, so I'm going to read some comments. Chad is asking Claudia if she's ready for Max. Yeah, Adobe Max is coming, what, next month already? Wow, it's coming up so quickly. Isolate, Sean wrote isolated, not PNG. Yeah, so it's an isolated leaf. It doesn't necessarily have, it's not like a PSD or a PNG with a clear background. It's just going to be easier to mask out. I see a lot of 3s. A lot of people are typing 3. Chad, Pam, Ryan, Nancy all said 3. We have Janice 1, 2. So the first one with number 2. Dorina with a 3. Cheryl with a 2. Wow, so it's a lot of threes. I think we're gonna have to go with 3. Yep, 3, 3, 3, 3. Oh, Canada. Yeah, 3, 3. Do we have a lot of Canadians in the chat? Is that where we're all picking 3? Cool. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you're excited for Adobe Max. Anika's very excited for Adobe Max. I'm gonna be a speaker at Adobe Max. I think this is I don't remember if it's my 4th or 5th year as a speaker at Max. Unfortunately, it won't be live, but it should still be pretty good. But yeah, all right, cool. So we'll go with leaf number 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this leaf to my library, and it's going to save in my 1, 2, 3, or my 1, 3, 2, 4 library, 1324 library. And if I go into Photoshop and find that library, that maple leaf should be in here. There it is. It came in right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and license the image just so that I can remove the watermark. I could have done this without licensing the image and just have a watermark, but we'll make it pretty. And what I'll do is I'll bring it into this document here, and I'm just gonna scale it. So basically, how big do I want the leaves in this document? So I want the leaves to cover his head. They're gonna go around his head. So maybe something like that. Maybe that's the appropriate size. Cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna Control click to make a selection around that layer, and I'm going to crop. Oh, actually, yeah, I'll crop. It doesn't matter. I'll crop, and I'll rasterize the layer, and from the properties panel, I can click on remove background. I had to rasterize the layer, so I can click on remove background, so I could get that result. And I'm just gonna paint with white here with a really, really tiny brush, just to get this part back like so. And maybe just to fake it, what I'll do is in a new layer, I'll just paint with like brown or something, just so that we can fake that we still have that missing piece. So there we go, missing piece back. And maybe, you know what, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably like it better without that piece. So let me undo that, because I think it'll look better for what we're trying to do. So I'll undo that. And with the leaf selected, I'm going to go into selected mask, smooth it out a tiny little bit, add contrast to sharpen the edges, press OK, and I'm going to go into filter, other, minimum. And minimum contracts a mask, and I'm just going to do it by 1 pixel, so just to get rid of all those white areas around the leaf, like so. And what I'm going to do now is hold Control on Windows, Command on the Mac, and click on the leaf to create a selection around it, and I'm going to crop it so that the crop is really tight on that leaf. Then I'm going to go into Edit, define, actually make sure that you're not on the layer mask, make sure that you're on the layer, so click on the layer and press Control D on Windows, Command D on the Mac to deselect, and go into Edit and define pattern. I'll call it leaf and press OK. At this point, if you go into the patterns panel, you'll see that there's a leaf right here, and that is a pattern. And since I want to bring everything back, I can go into Window, History, and just scroll up my history, and where should I go? Maybe like right here. Oh, right here, right before I crop the image, right there. Just go back, and I can delete this layer. And by the way, this is something that was really not part of the demo, but I still want to show you. If you press Control K, Command K on the Mac, and you go into performance, you can set the number of history states, how many times you can undo. So currently I can undo 50 times. You can change that number to a higher number if you like. So I have 50 undos. Cool. So now let me just show you a couple things. I'm going to create a new layer, right? And what I just did is I just created a pattern. And this pattern is this pattern right here. That's what the pattern looks like. And I can rotate it like so. So that's my pattern. But in Photoshop, if you go into Edit, Fill, you can select your pattern under Custom Pattern. And by the way, under Contents, you need to set it to Pattern. So Contents, Pattern, and then under Custom Pattern, select the pattern that you just created. And you have different fills that you can create. For example, you can create a random fill, and I can just press OK, and now I have all these leaves randomly over my image. I'm going to undo that. Another way to get into the fill dialog box is by holding Shift and the backspace key. That's Shift Delete on the Mac. And I can press OK, and I can make different adjustments. For example, we can have color randomness, where the leaves will all shift hues, and brightness randomness as well. And we can adjust the scale, and we can do all sorts of fun things, right? Pretty cool. But we can also create a nice little path. So I'm going to create a path using the curvature pen tool around his head, like so. And there you go. Doesn't need to be perfect, but that's the path. And I can go into Edit, Fill, and instead of Random Fill, I can select Place Along a Path and press OK. So now I have these leaves that are going to be placed along that path. I'll warn you right now that the preview is a little weird. It's kind of misleading, so you have to play around and just trial and error to get the appropriate values to get what you want, but you'll see what I mean by that. But anyway, where it says pattern scale set to 1, 1 means that the pattern will be the same size as the pattern when it was defined. That's why we resized the pattern in the beginning to his forehead, so that 1 will be just the perfect size for his forehead. And we can also adjust the distance from the path. Maybe just set it to 1. And we can scale it as it progresses. We can add color randomness, or we can add brightness randomness, totally up to you. And you can press OK, and that places just 2 leaves in the path. And that's what I was talking about. It could be a little misleading, so you have to undo, hold Shift and backspace, and then press OK again, and keep adjusting the values until you get something that works for you. Something else that I should mention is that you can also, right now, I have a path. See, that's the path we made earlier. It's selected in the Paths panel. If I go into Edit, Fill, this time I didn't use the keyword shortcut, but same thing. You can also go back into Random Fill, and watch what happens. The Random Fill now will be placed along the path. So you can use the same controls that we had in the Random Fill, but on the path. So I'll just press OK just so you can see the result. See that? See that result? So now I can do Shift and backspace again, press OK, and I'm going to set the minimum scale to maybe like 0.7 and the maximum scale to 1, so that the leaves are not much they can't be any bigger than the original size and only a little bit smaller. Maybe reduce the color randomness and reduce the brightness randomness, and press OK. And you can see now I'm starting to create that ornament effect that I'm going for. And just for the sake of time, let's just pretend that I got it dialed to the perfect amount of leaves and all that good stuff. What I'm going to do is zoom into the image so you can see the result. And I can click and drag it and sort of place it into position. Double click on the layer here and add a drop shadow. I'll reset it to default. One of the things that I recommend you to do when you add a shadow is to always change the color from black to whatever the darkest color of that surface is. So in this case it's skin, so I'll select the skin and just drag it down right before it gets to black, so we have a little bit of color like so. And I can drag this down and increase the opacity like so, and make it match his skin more or less like that. Obviously you can fine tune it a lot more than what I'm going to do right now. Maybe add a little bit of noise and press OK. You'll notice that there's shadows coming off to the side of his head. You don't want that. So the way to fix that is to right click on the layer and select right click on where it says FX, I should say, and click on create layer, press OK, and now that shadow is just a regular layer, and I can apply a layer mask to it and paint with black on that layer mask to hide that shadow effect in areas that shouldn't have that shadow effect, like so. So now I created this nice little ornament around my portrait using patterns and scripts. Let me look up and see if there's any questions in the chat. I see that Claudia's having a lot of conversations with you guys in the chat, so thank you so much. Viola wrote, "I need 1 million undos." Awesome. Um, Jesus is ignoring us. No, I was just trying to get it all done. Let's see. Cool. Yep. There's no questions, so that's awesome. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer some questions about this technique. If not, I would love to see what you come up with. Make sure that you don't have to use a leaf. You can use whatever object that you want. I just used a leaf because it was going to be simple to explain in the example. Thank you so much there for that comment. I'm so glad you're learning so many things that you didn't know before, Christina. That's awesome. Thank you, Dorina, for saying wow. I think you're saying wow to my work. Awesome. Oh, is Claudia talking about some show? Okay, I don't know if I can talk about the show, but I'll let Claudia talk about it in the chat. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Make sure that you stick around for all the other shows coming up. We had, right before me, we had Evan Abrams doing a how to animate a scene. Then, of course, me doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Right after me is hand lettering with Steffi, so make sure that you stick around for that. Then Paul Tranny at 11:30 a.m. Pacific doing the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. At noon, we have the mobile app design with Andrea Marquez. And then at 2 p.m. Pacific, we have the XD Daily Creative Challenge with Andrea Epi. And finally, at the end of the day, at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, we have Doodle Therapy with Alice Lee and Ryan Putnam. So make sure that you stick around for a fun-filled day. Make sure that you follow me on Behance. I hope that you guys learned a lot, and make sure that you submit your work onto Discord and into Behance. I'll be back again tomorrow for another Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. See you guys. Bye.